Does that sound right? Can you hear us now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Fantastic.
I don't know
All
if
right.
anyone else can.
Let me turn my headphones up here. Still figuring out the new station. There we go. All right. We are back with the NSFW episode 110 of the Politically Correcting podcast with me, the Jose P, along with my co-host, Lavelle Lewis. Did you say that into the mic?
I sure did.
Oh, okay.
They heard it. I know.
There it is.
people heard
Austin on ones and twos.
Oh, hello.
And we are your weekly, monthly dose of common sense here on the podcast. Let's toast to our ability to share a drink with friends, have open and honest dialogue, and always striving to walk away still being friends. Salud.
Salud. Water today, baby.
So this podcast today is going to be fully based on the news that just came out regarding Donald Trump's trial. Now, I had a whole, damn, you look dark. I had a whole different podcast set up for today, but the news just came out. Donald Trump has been found guilty of all 34 allegations. Well, they're not allegations anymore. All 34 felony charges. CNN Politics was all over this, of course. Some of the things that it says, just in a Manhattan jury found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 counts. He faced in his New York hush money criminal trial. We're going to get right back to that in a second, though. Trump is the first president in U.S. history to be convicted of a felony, which is crazy to me, considering we've had presidents that probably deserve to be convicted of felonies much worse than this. Prosecutors accused Trump of taking part in an illegal conspiracy to undermine the integrity of the 2016 election and an unlawful plan to suppress negative information, which included concealing a hush money payment to an adult film star. Trump slammed the trial after the verdict, calling it a disgrace and rigged. Of course, you know he's going to say that. Judge Juan Merchan denied Trump's move for an acquittal of the charges and set a sentencing hearing of July 11th. Now, something that really stuck out to me is we can't just read articles and just simply take it at face value, because I have, honestly, I'll be very honest here, I had zero idea what the 34 charges were. All I knew was that it was hush money trial. He paid allegedly paid Stormy Daniels hush money to say, hey, you know, don't say nothing. And, you know, I'm running for president, so here's some money to keep your mouth shut. But upon further investigation, let's pull up the 34 charges that were originally, ooh, that's psychedelic. Can the people see that?
They should be able to.
All right.
Yes, they should be able to.
Thank you very much. That's awesome, of course, on the ones and twos. Let's go down the list here of the allegations that he was actually found guilty of. Can you scroll down to show the people those allegations? Can you do me a favor, because for some reason this is not popping up on my screen here. Can you name the charges? You look at the charges. What's charge number one?
Count one. Falsifying business records in the first degree.
What's charge two?
Count two. Falsifying business records in the first degree.
What's charge three?
Count three. Falsifying business records in the first degree.
Fourth?
Count four. Falsifying business records in the first degree.
Count five?
Count five. Falsifying business records in the first
You
degree.
get the point. All 34 charges, are they not the same exact wording?
Yeah, but I put different emphasis on it each time. So
You put the right emphasis on the wrong syllable.
right.
This right here is absurd to me, that the charge, again, what was the original count?
Falsifying business records in the first degree.
What part of that says paying a hooker off because I'm running for presidency and I need you to be quiet?
Oh boy.
Well, presumably. Okay. Well, so each count does have a specified document attached.
Yes. Go ahead and read off the document attached that it says that alleged.
Okay. So there's several that are invoices from Michael Cohen.
Right.
There are several voucher entries in ledgers.
Yep.
And then there are check and stubs.
Right. So that seems like a financial potential crimes here, maybe.
Right.
Which part of this screams, I don't know, a candidate running for president that was paying off hush money, because if you actually look at the notes, when I went back, the claim was that he was to repay his attorney in 2017. Well, he was already president in 2017. So he wasn't paying back an attorney to keep people quiet during his run, his campaign, when he's paying them back in 2017. Why they could have just came out and said, "Hey, Donald Trump paid me this money to keep quiet." I don't know. It just nothing
when
about
is
this sounds
the
right.
sentencing date is when? July.
July 11th. was it?
When's the
could be.
when's the debate?
The debate is next month when we will be going.
June 27th around there.
I believe so.
Oh boy, isn't this great TV?
June 27th.
Isn't this great TV?
This is amazing timing.
This is such a show.
Again, this happened in 2017.
This is such a
So
show.
what you're telling me is 7 years later, you decide to bring it up weirdly at the exact same time that Donald Trump says, "I'm running for president."
After he represented in the Bronx,
After
he had all the empanadas. Like any empanada he wants in the Bronx right now, he got them.
I feel like you're talking about women.
They're the ones who's probably making from him. He has the Latino vote all day in the Bronx.
You think he fully has Latino vote?
In the Bronx, he does.
You know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do this episode. We're going to make some live calls.
Okay.
Hopefully people answer. I'm going to call random people. I don't know, or I may know their political leans.
This would be the same as like the Sienna polls
Yeah.
that they do.
Well, there's I have a very mixed group of people that I would call.
Okay.
That I either know they kind of lean right or kind of lean left, or they're very conservative or they're very liberal.
Do they live in the Bronx? That's my question.
I don't know anyone that lives in the Bronx.
I'm talking about.
I'm
the
talking
Bronx.
about the outcomes of this election right here. Well, let's start with Austin. Austin,
Yes.
this right here, does this change who you're going to vote for president? First of all, do you know who you're going to vote for? You don't have to say who.
Yeah.
but
I
do
mean,
you know
yeah.
who?
This does not change my opinion.
This does not change your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking if he gets on the ballot, I'd probably vote for RFK.
And again, we don't know who's actually going to be on the ballot yet, because Donald Trump is not on the ballot yet.
Yeah.
Anything can happen at the Republican Party, the RNC, whatever the hell it's called. Anything can happen at the Democratic National Committee Party as well, where they can just come out with their own candidate of whoever they wish. Maybe a black woman who used to be first lady, maybe a white man who destroyed California.
Are you sure?
Hold on.
Allegedly.
There we go.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So this does not change who you're going to vote for. You said you're probably going to go RFK.
Yeah, if given the current options.
But could you withstand that for 4 years? The frog through.
That he sounds like a monster. Yeah,
his
That's not nice.
I know. Why
that's
would
not
you
nice
say
at
that?
all.
Yeah,
I
well,
tell
that's
you.
what he sounds like.
But it's still not nice.
His State of the Union address will be terrible. He sounds like the Tasmanian devil. Vaccination.
Terrible.
It is true. Well,
Terrible.
it was kind of weird that the Libertarian Party wouldn't even choose him.
Yeah, they're weird. That's not the same Ron Paul party that I know.
Is that your party? What party do you ascribe to?
I guess technically libertarian, but like lowercase, like what that used to mean.
What it
Okay.
used to mean.
Yeah,
Kind of
rather-
like liberal, what it used to mean.
right.
The
you're
Ron
right.
Paul days, right?
Sure. Yeah. It's just like I'm a small government guy.
With you?
That's my
There you go.
sort of baseline.
See,
Okay,
okay,
right.
would you still be a small government guy if there were actual people in government that knew what they were doing? Like if it was, I don't know, let's say the heads of all corporations in the country, that is Google, Facebook, Meta,
Sure.
Tesla, if all the different, CEOs came together and said, we're going to rule this country because our government sucks.
Yeah. Oh, what? So just a bunch of billionaires running it? Yeah. No, I'm still a small government guy.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just want to see where you're at with that.
Yeah,
If there was
yeah.
a ultimate level where you'd be like, no, I'd rather just have competent people running my tax money, or is it we need to take away what they've already done and my taxes need to be decreased because they don't know what the hell they're doing?
But would you just?
I mean, yeah.
You just said though that Google Amazon. Like they do run this country though. So he just
Allegedly.
he pretty much state like if it was smaller, if they weren't running this country, we wouldn't have the
We-
size of government that we have right now.
I
Right?
I feel as though you are probably pretty accurate in that
Yeah.
assessment.
Yes, sir.
We have certainly become a corporate America to where the corporations, big corporations in particular, can pretty much just do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
You really look dark. As
Yeah,
hell out
like
there.
I've been under the sun, and
Your America flag looks like it
I like it though.
came under the sun. Let's make a call.
Now, go ahead.
I'm going to call somebody. Again, I'm not going to name names, but let's find out.
There's gonna be a
What
lot
they're
of
gonna say.
neithers.
Oh, sure.
You can hear that, right?
Hello.
Hi, do not say your name. Do not tell me who you are. I am calling to ask you a question. Is that okay?
Sure.
The President Trump, former President Trump, just got convicted of 34, what was it, charges?
Yeah.
Have you been following the court case at all? I'm not going to ask any questions about the court case, but have you been following it at all? On a scale of 1 to 5?
Not really.
All right. So I think that's probably, in my opinion, probably most people.
Sure.
Would you say whether do you know who you're going to vote for when it comes to presidency? You don't have to tell me who, but do you know who you're going to vote for?
I don't know who I'm going to vote for, but I know who I'm not voting for.
Oh.
Okay. Do you want to tell us who you're not going to vote for? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Sleepy Joe.
All right. All right. So you're not going to vote for Joe. All right. So this trial, though, because there's still assumably that there's still 2 people left to run for president. We got RFK and Trump. This trial, does this change who you're going to vote for? The outcome of this trial, does it change who you're going to vote for?
No.
Okay. That's what I want to hear. Thank you very much for your time.
Bye.
All right. Let me call somebody else here. Let's call. Oh, I didn't even. Let's see what this person says. Another female.
Oh.
He knows a lot of females.
I feel like it's most of our audience.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah, for sure.
More than that.
Hello.
Hi. Do not say who you are, your name, or anything like that. Do you have a minute to talk?
Sure.
All right.
Do not say who you are.
Oh, you're listening to the podcast right now.
There you go.
Turn that off. Put that on mute, please.
Okay.
Fantastic. I got a question since you probably already know what I'm going to ask. Do you know who you're
Sure.
going to vote for at this current time for president?
I'm pretty sure I know.
Okay. You don't have to tell us who. The court case, have you, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much have you been following the Donald Trump court case here in New York State?
1 is not at all.
1 being not at all, 5 being completely embroiled in it.
1.
Okay. Now, the outcome of this court case, does it affect who you're going to vote for president?
Potentially.
Potentially. Okay. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I don't feel comfortable with a convicted felon being the president. And there was a slight possibility that I might vote for them.
All right. I think that there are actually a pretty significant amount of independents who believe that same theory. I think there was I think they did a poll, 17% of independents said that if he were convicted, they would not vote for him. So what you're saying is now that he's been convicted, it has changed your mind about potentially voting for him.
It potentially has changed my mind.
All right.
And I could still vote for them. It depends on how the debates go. It depends on the debate goes and what actually ends up coming of this.
Awesome. All right. You got a question?
Could we add to a little caveat to this thing here?
Okay.
Let's not forget that this could be one of the most corrupt trials that anybody could ever be.
Do you believe that this trial was
Tried.
corrupted?
Which is exactly why I'm saying potentially.
Okay.
Not definitely.
By any means, and just like you said earlier within the show, let's say that Barack Obama, George Bush, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, before Ronald Reagan, George H. Bush and then Ronald Reagan were ever scrutinized to the level in this magnitude where they went and looked for every single needle in any haystack to try and convict someone that they wanted out. Just imagine if those gentlemen who we know that there's a lot of crimes that was committed under their watch. Why would we assume that all of a sudden they got it right this time?
Isn't it questionable that maybe some of them still should be convicted?
But will they? That's the same.
Well,
Will
that's
they?
I
the
think that's
question.
up to the Supreme Court at this point.
Now
There is a court case still out there saying that, trying to figure out if the president can be tried for charges that he may or may not have committed during his presidency.
Now, here's my thing, though.
Hold on. We're going to let you go. Thank you so much for answering that.
Have a great show.
Thank you for being a listener.
So within the this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
The charges that, let's say with George Bush, war crimes. What did he know? What did he say yes to? How did he violate our Constitution? Within just that, right?
We can. How about
even with Donald Trump, the stuff that they could try them for.
Yeah, but we're talking to people who are going to vote based on this trial.
Yes, and this the whole point of this show is to really shine a light on the bullshit that happens, not the bullshit that they're putting out on CNN. Oh, now all of a sudden CNN got it right. Now the station that has been manipulating the population for years. Don't forget COVID. All the lies that CNN pushed out there. Why all of a sudden do we think they got it right this time? Even
CNN didn't charge Donald Trump.
No, I know they did not, but the story itself, it goes directly to the people who already have their impression of Donald Trump came from CNN, MSNBC. However way they view Donald Trump, they got the box store version, right? They got the Home Depot version. You and I as many things that we speak about off air or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know there's a deeper element within everything.
Absolutely.
So we don't
as we just read the words from the CNN article that kind of said the complete, I wouldn't say opposite of what the actual trial was about.
Right.
The trial was about falsification of financial documents. That's it. Not that he used campaign funds.
Right. They
didn't
didn't give you any true
right
essence of what he's being charged for.
And I looked hard to even find those actual counts, how to find the actual 34 counts. Look it up yourself. Look it up. Donald Trump 34 counts that he got freaking found guilty for. Try to find an article that says these are the things that he got called guilty for. Look it up for yourself.
And
Google it.
We'll even take it a step further. We're talking about the government here. This is still the government here, okay? The government is putting people in prison for marijuana charges for felonies. So just because it's a felony does not necessarily mean that it's like, okay,
this is not a prisonable offense.
No, exactly. It's not. Like if anything, he'll get slapped. He would avoid all types. He would not see a prison for 5 minutes.
But here's the other side to it. Democrats have been pushing to ban the box to allow convicted felons to have guns, be able to vote, have their records expunged, get jobs, all this and that and the other, to say, they've served their time, they've been found guilty, but they served their time, they paid their dues, they paid the cost, they paid their tax bill, whatever it may be. We should give them a second chance. But when it comes to Donald Trump,
they're fucking hypocrites.
He is a felon. He is a felon. He needs to go to jail forever. And it's like, well, you are the same person that would call another felon just someone who made the wrong decision at a certain point in their time in their life, and they should be given a second chance. That's the hypocrisy that I really hate about my own party, that they don't show the same energy.
Yeah, just like me with my party and their fucking love for the state of Israel, where they're really ready to obliterate your First Amendment right.
Well, not only that, the Republicans are sitting here saying it's a sham court case, and that no matter what happens, he's our guy. So, okay, you are cool with felons then, as long as they are on your side.
On your side.
Right. But you've been pushing against the bandbox. You've been pushing against being able to, enter back into society as a felon with your full rights restored after you've paid your price. You're against that. That's what the Republicans are. Let's make another call
The
here.
hypocrisy of both sides.
Right.
Ooh. Makes you wonder who's in control. Sure as hell isn't either party.
Hello.
Brother, how are you?
I'm well.
Hey, very well. Hey, sorry about this crazy call here. Do not say your name. Do not say how we know each other. I want to ask you a simple question regarding the Donald Trump trial case here on my podcast live. Quick question regarding the trial itself on a scale of 1 to 5, meaning 1 not at all, 5 completely invested. How have you been tracking the Donald Trump trial case in New York State?
You said 5 is tracking it.
5 is you are fully invested in it.
I'm like a 2.
All right, that seems to be the norm here. Did you already know who you were going to vote for before this case even got brought around or the court case was settled? Did you already know who you're going to vote for?
I did.
Okay. Does the results of this change that at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Are you okay with saying who you're going to vote for?
Yes.
Who's that?
It would be Donald Trump.
All right. Thank you so much for your insights on that one. I appreciate you. Go have a great night.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. So he was obviously, I would assume, on the right-hand side. Let's see here.
But you know why they did this is distraction. This is nonsense. It only rallies the same people.
Don't say anything
Hi.
about how we know each other or who you are. I want to get your truthful answer to this. You got a minute?
Yes.
All right, very cool. This Donald Trump trial on a scale of 1 to 5, how have you been tracking it? Are you 1 meaning not at all, or 5 meaning you are fully invested in it and you know everything about it?
A 2.
A 2. Okay. It seems like that's pretty much the norm. Did you know who you were going to vote for before the outcome of this trial?
Yes.
Do you want to say who that was?
Trump.
Okay. And does this outcome, as a female, does this outcome change that at all? And also add on to the fact that he has been not convicted of rape, but he did have his civil trial where he does owe a shit ton of money to a female that claims that he raped her. Does any of this change your mind about Donald Trump?
Not at all.
Do you want to say why?
No. Because when Trump was in and he was our president, he put America first.
All right, America first person.
Yes. And we were all thriving. We were all thriving. People were working. I mean, now look at it. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do anything. We got illegal immigrants coming in. It's Trump all day long for me.
All right.
I don't care.
Do you consider yourself far right, middle right? What would you consider yourself?
She sounds like more like I don't give a fuck. She just fucking with Trump.
Okay, what was your answer?
Far right.
All right. Thank you very much for your honesty. I appreciate the insight.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I mean, it seems I hate to only be finding certain. This person I know is a registered Democrat. I know for a fact.
Hello.
Hi, don't say who you are or how I know you. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I want to get your insight on this Donald Trump court case. How have you been invested in this court case? Meaning, number 1, you really don't know much about it at all. Number 5, meaning you are fully invested in it. From a scale of 1 to 5, what would you say you are?
Probably about a 1 or 2.
Okay.
Definitely not a 5.
All right. Seems like that's most people. Even that. So this being all over the news really doesn't really pertain to you, is what you're saying? You're just like whatever about it?
Well, I mean, it's been like a witch hunt since he really kind of stepped onto the political scene. So it's just been a mockery and a circus, and I'm just really tired of it all.
Okay. So,
and I think they're purposely trying to keep him out of office.
all right. Now, before this whole thing went down, did you already know who you're going to vote for? If it comes down to the three that we are assuming, which is Biden, Trump, RFK.
Before the trial, yes, I already knew who I was voting for.
Okay. Does this trial change anything for you?
No.
Not at all. Okay.
No.
Do you want to say who you're going to vote for?
Trump.
Oh, look at that. All right. That was a Democrat that said, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Austin.
So, I guess
I can't hear you quite yet because I'm going to call a Latino next.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to call a Latino next. I really honestly have no idea where
Trump's been winning this
so far.
But
And it's been majority women.
Well, we've been calling your contact list.
Yeah, but my friends are usually moderate middle.
You claim you're a Democrat. This is I
we-
trust
next
your,
call.
your
Next
scale.
call.
He's
Let's
in the
see.
closet.
Next call.
He's in the closet. He's
In the closet.
in the closet.
Like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, you got a minute for me to ask you a couple questions here?
Go right ahead.
All right. You're live on a podcast. I got a question regarding the Trump trial. First question is, on a scale of 1 to 5, have you been how much have you been following the trial? Meaning, number 1, not at all. Number 5, you are fully invested in it. You know all about it. 1. Okay. So it seems like nobody's been following this trial at all.
No one
The
gives a
fact
fuck.
that it's been all over the news, does that matter to you at all?
It doesn't matter to me simply because there's a lot of it's like a misdemeanor charge, and I know they have some felony attachments to it. But how many business people don't write certain things off,
Right.
like card sponsors and stuff like that?
I'm in agreement. I don't want the IRS coming after me though.
Exactly.
All right. So did you know who you're going to vote for prior to this trial? If it came down to the top 3, which was Biden, Trump, RFK, did you already know who you're going to vote for before, or did you already think you knew?
I already had my my opinion who I was going to vote for.
Okay. And does this trial change that opinion at all?
Not at all.
Do you want to say who you're going to vote for?
Yeah, I'm voting for Kennedy.
Hey, all right. We've got another RFK guy there. All right. I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Biden's got 0 votes so far.
He does have 0 votes so far.
Biden is losing badly right now.
I mean, maybe let's we could call someone from my contact list.
Let's
You
do
want-
it.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
all right,
Let's do
all
it.
right.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's do it.
Go ahead.
All right, let me see if I can find someone.
Call your girlfriend. She's like, what the hell are you doing? Do the same 3
Oh,
questions.
All right. You know what? Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
give her
my
a call.
uncle wants me to point at the camera because he's watching. Love you.
This is the first doing live
Now
calls.
See,
You should call your mom.
I'll call Mom Dukes.
What did I just do?
Hey, don't say your name. We're on the podcast right now. You're on speakerphone.
Are you okay with that?
Are you okay with that? We ju-
Sure.
I just want to ask you a couple questions real quick. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. Have you been following the Trump
On a scale of 1 to 5.
on a scale from 1 to 5? How closely have you been following the Trump trial?
1 meaning nothing at all. 5 meaning completely invested in it. You know everything about it.
2.
Okay.
I think that's been pretty much everybody so
Yeah.
far.
2 is a lot higher than 1, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
So did you see that he got convicted on all 34 counts this afternoon?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Okay, here's another question.
They're easy questions.
did you know who you were going to vote for before this trial, before he was convicted? You don't have to say who.
Yes.
Assuming that there's the three. You got
Yes.
RFK, Trump, and Biden. You already knew who you're going to vote for.
Okay. Does the outcome of this trial change your mind on this at all?
No.
Okay.
Perfect.
Would you mind saying who you're planning on voting for? Keep in mind you're anonymous right now. No one knows who I called.
I'm anonymous right now.
Yes.
You don't have to say.
You don't have to say. It's fine.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'll say there's two options. But
Okay.
anywho, yeah.
Ooh, who can you break down the two options?
Who would you not vote for?
Trump.
All right.
Okay. And this had played no part in that decision, this trial.
No.
Okay.
All right. So
Cool.
good. No, that pretty much seems in line with everybody's decision.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't really pertain.
All right.
Thank
you know
you very
what
much.
this is? This is a score for
Thank
the
you.
for the
Thank you.
Trump's bad guy people. Told you he's bad. He's
Yeah.
a felon, man. You
So,
ever get in an
okay.
argument with one of those people?
Dude, my entire party. Because I'm very much again. I've said this a million times. I'm gonna say it a freaking million more times. I've never voted for Trump, and I probably won't vote this time for him either, unless, and I've said this out loud before as well. I'll say it again for everybody else. Unless he picks one of actually three people now that I've decided for vice president. One, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yep.
Number two, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yep.
Number three, crap, I forgot who the third person was. I just talked about it the other day with Greg. And then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that person, number three, would be someone I would choose. Never mind. Those are the top two. We'll go with that.
Did we say Rand Paul or Ron Paul? One of them?
Oh, Ron Paul. If
Yeah,
Ron Paul out of
Ron Paul should be president.
right.
Shit.
If Ron Paul out of nowhere decides, you know
Yeah,
what, I
all
want to
day.
bring him, I would say obviously I'm much more for the vice president than for the president pick. So my vote for Trump in that position would be a vote for the vice president, not for the president, because I do believe Trump is a liar.
Hater.
And he did not drain the swamp. He didn't do anything he said he was going to do.
Well, he did. He did sign that human trafficking bill.
Whatever.
He sure did. Take a look at that one.
Let me see if this guy
He
will
was
answer.
talking about
I
human
am interested
trafficking.
to see this one.
He was talking about human trafficking on his campaign too.
This will be another Latino. Let's see. Let's see how this one go. Yo, don't say anything about who you are or how we know each other. You are live on air. I got a couple questions for you.
What?
On a scale of 1 to 5, what? On a scale of 1 to 5 regarding this Donald Trump case that he just got found guilty of 34 different convictions here. On a scale of 1 to 5, how much have you been following the case? 1 being not at all, 5 meaning you are fully invested in it, you know everything about it.
0.
All right. That's less than most people. Most people have been around a 1 or 2. Number 2, did you already know who you're going to vote for prior to this case? If it came down to the final 3, meaning Donald Trump, Joe Biden, RFK Jr. Did you already know or assume that you were going to vote for one of those 3, or were you kind of like up in the air?
One of those 3.
Okay. And did this court case, the outcome of this court case, change that answer at all?
No.
All right. Do you mind saying who you were going to vote for? Again, no one knows who you are.
Trump.
There you go. Another Latino for Trump. All right, I appreciate you.
All
All right. Yeah. I said another Latino for Trump. The other one said RFK.
I told you, bro. He's got all the empanadas in the Bronx, right? He can go
I feel like
anywhere.
that's as bad as Joe Biden saying we're as diverse as the breakfast tacos or whatever she said.
No.
Breakfast burritos, something like that.
No, that speaks to the Latino community's hospitality. Come on, Tron. We got you. Empanada.
I do want to call this person, but I know they're super Trump.
We want.
I know they're super Trump, and I kind of wanted to hear her go off. I'm not gonna let her.
Cheeseburger. We want carnita. We got carnita.
So, okay, based on that, does it seem like this trial was being followed at all? Because I mean, we had a couple of Democrats that said not at all following it. I know at least 2 of the people I called were Republicans. They kind of said a 1 or 2, really not at all. And most people kind of already knew who they're going to vote for before. I think one person said that this court case kind of pushed them in a different direction.
Who watches CNN? What's their? Can we pull up their ratings?
CNN's rating.
Yeah.
Okay, while they're pulling that up, what are you trying to do? See who's winning in the information wars?
No, actually, my mom was like, "Nah, don't call me, bro." And my uncle, he said, "Don't call him." I told him like, "Nah, you don't know nothing, bro. You ain't gonna be making up words."
Right.
You be making up
That'd
all
be funny,
types
though.
of
Yeah, I
words.
feel like I want to be paying for my calls.
No, that's good. We appreciate that because we needed somebody that actually differed from everyone that I called.
Yeah, we got it. Well,
I think we had a diverse phone call list,
Yeah.
but I mean, Austin might be right.
did Biden get a vote?
I think he got a potential maybe
A maybe
from my call.
That person
She said it's between two.
Yeah.
And
But the fact that it's
Right.
between two means that RFK
it's going to hurt
in the
Biden.
because nobody that was Donald Trump before, except for one person, she said it may have switched her vote. Potentially.
Yeah, potentially
was a word that was used. The fact that most people who were not engaged kind of already knew who they were voting for before, and this doesn't change it at all on both sides.
Right.
That's number one, pretty telling, I think, of where the country is. But number two, when it came to the person that was automatically already on either, Joe Biden side or the RFK side,
right?
The fact that they're kind of like, I don't know which one, that, in my opinion, says a lot about RFK potentially only taking votes away from Biden as opposed to taking away from Trump. I don't think RFK is going to have a big impact on Donald Trump. What do you think, Austin, as being our resident liberal here?
He just said he's a libertarian.
Resident liberal, yeah. I mean, so I don't think RFK has any chance to win. I don't, but
that's pretty much a given.
So my hope is that he gets enough votes that neither of the other candidates gets 270. That's what I want.
You want to cause the entire country to go up in civil war?
Yeah, I just want the two-party system to see that like a third party could like impact the election.
And then if it goes to the courts,
then
right.
Biden's in
actually
for another 4.
I believe it will go to the court, and then it would also go to the House of Representatives.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Or I think the Supreme Court will be the last out of the
because then you can challenge it and challenge it and challenge it.
Right.
That's kind of scary.
See, but let's shake it up. How did we end up with a rematch of Trump versus Biden? Nobody wanted a rematch of Trump versus Biden.
I certainly,
people did.
I really don't want it, but at the same time, honestly, I kind of want that fight. Like I want to see the battle go at with each other. It's like find two boxers that you really freaking maybe you hate them both, but you want to Jake Paul and freaking Mike Tyson.
And
it's a terrible fight, but you want to see it.
That's why I want to see RFK come in with the chair.
WWE style.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Kind of like Donald Trump did back in the 90s with.
Yeah, I think what is underestimated was the popularity of Trump. Trump was popular way before this presidential election.
Do you think I should have asked if this court case kind of? Oh, I had a bad ringing in my ear. I wanted to know if this court case kind of pushed people towards Trump. Actually,
that's that.
Well, most people said it didn't impact it, but all the other trials did it potentially push people into the arms of Donald Trump.
Not to play political football with the black folks, but before when he started to get charged, that's when he started to become more popular within the black community because they're like, yo, they doing the same shit they did to my brother Tyrone last week. It's the same shit.
It's not really the same shit, but
it's the same shit, bro.
I get what you're saying.
Yes,
the system's against us.
That's a relatable thing. But it's not just black folks because Latinos is getting locked up too in the hood. Everybody in the hood is following Trump right now. And the only way that they can connect to
I don't know. We were at a barbershop earlier.
Yeah, but
and he said that everyone that he's talked to was pretty much like, I don't know, they kind of don't like Trump.
there's a lot of people.
Oh, and I guess
There's a lot of people. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people that are still stuck on the misperception of Trump fed to them by Main Street media.
I mean, to be clear, they did just put an entire article making it sound like Austin being the
worst
more,
thing ever.
Austin being more libertarian here. Does that article not kind of scream something a little different than what he was charged with?
Just looking at it, like I don't know. I'd have to look
at the
it more,
buzzwords
honestly.
they use for Trump.
Come
right?
on,
Oh, so
Austin.
I will say, like, all right,
Disgrace
Donald
and
Trump
rig.
guilty, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, like
They're using the same words that got him in trouble, right? Because the conspiracy to undermine an election and bribe.
Oh, of course it's CNN. Of course it's twisted. Like I'm not going to defend CNN.
Right, exactly.
That's your people, though. How are you not going to defend them?
It's under
That's
politics.
not my people.
This is politics.
Take
This
great
is
offense to that.
politics is definitely not reality. So this, again, like I said, this is part of the show. If this was real, this was a real legit felony case, and he's really getting tried through a jury that is not biased,
right?
Getting charged by a district attorney that's not biased, Letitia James, right? In a district court that knows him very well. Donald Trump pays these people's salary with the amount of taxes he pays from all his buildings that he has in New York City.
And he's paid off a lot of politicians. He
He
said, I've
paid
donated
off
to
a
both
lot
sides.
of people. He paid for a lot of people.
Yep.
So
the same people that are attacking him, he's paid a lot towards their campaigns.
Exactly. I'm saying this,
I'd be pissed about that.
Well, yeah, I think the real serious thing that we need to look at is our judicial system. Look at what they're doing to Trump. What makes you think that now our government does not have the power, excuse me, to manipulate anything they want to and try you for it?
I am glad that the Republicans are finally seeing that, because there have been a large swath of more Latino and Black people that were saying the system is kind of rigged against us. Judicial system is kind of rigged against us. And the Republicans were automatically, no, to just get a lawyer, just fight it in court, just go through the proper channels. You'll get your time in no due time. Like, it
All
seems
I want is,
as though the Republicans are kind of eating crow now with what's happening in the court system against their own guy. Same energy on their side as well. That's all I'm saying.
Well, a lot of people on the Republican side want Trump to be in prison anyway.
I know, but I don't think most people.
Vice president snitched on him.
Yeah, Pence is a bitch.
Like, come
Pence is a
on,
straight up
man.
bitch.
The Republican Party is
not because he didn't try to overturn the election, because he was not his right-hand man.
No, Pence is a sucker.
Because if you're my boy, I choose you to be my vice president, and we get elected because of me, I'm gonna sit there and say, yo, you better have my back. Like, I shouldn't even have to say it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even have to say it. You should automatically know I got his back, man. That's my boy. He brought me here. I'm with him. I'm ride or die. And Pence was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and let this fly land on my head and talk shit about my guy.
Yep.
Do you think Kamala has Biden's back?
She has been.
Okay.
Through all the nonsense, he look at what she's saying about him.
How does she?
He's got all the energy in the world. He wakes up in the morning and
you know what? That's true. She's kind of hyping him up.
What influence does Kamala have? For
it doesn't matter. She has his back. That's a team,
right? Like she puts her hand on his back to like lead him out of the room.
She doesn't even know what the conversation is half the
time.
I
I think it's a problem that Donald Trump hasn't already announced his vice president. I think that's a very that's a very telling position that either number one, you don't know what you really want, or number two, you think it's all on you. And I don't personally like that, because I'm very much a team person. I'm very much individual on certain things, but on most things in life where I want to try and get ahead of other people, I'm a team person, because I know with a team you can go further.
Who's RFK's vice president?
Some chick that's even more far left than freaking Kamala.
Oh yeah. I think she's like from New York City.
Something. She's definitely more far left.
Yeah.
The libertarian guy is for the most part far left, except he believes in guns.
Like
Austin.
I say watch RFK. He's these people are all part of the show, man. Honestly.
I just don't know if he's gonna pull the amount of votes away from Trump that would mess up the elections. I don't know if that's the answer. I do believe that he's going to pull votes away from President Joe Biden, and that's going to affect the election. I do believe that part. Coming from a outside looking in political campaign advisor person.
The one thing that I give Trump the nod on is how he is on the stage with the other world leaders, and for him to call out Benjamin Netanyahu, for him to call him out and straight up say like, yo, this guy didn't. I thought the Palestinians were going to be the ones who did not want to do a deal. He said no.
They came straight out.
He said no. It was Netanyahu. He's the one, and I was shocked. He was shocked. So, that for him to say that and also be a Republican, because the Republicans are they're like standing underneath the state of Israel, while like Republicans' face is the urinal of the Israeli government.
And not the urinal, but the bukkake.
Yeah, they literally piss on it. Like, Israel is R. Kelly, and the Republican Party
is a 13-year-old girl.
13-year-old getting pissed on right in her face. That is who the Republican Party
it is embarrassing.
Leaders.
It is embarrassing. When the vast, I was talking to a 24, 25-year-old Republican in front of Greg Sadwick, who's running for Congress. And I've been telling Greg, look, this is how the younger Americans feel. All right. They're pissed off about everything and they blame both sides. Period.
Yeah.
They blame both sides. They hate both parties. And what they want is someone to come out and say, I also hate both parties. And I also don't want to fund any more wars. I just want our money, our taxes to go towards our people. I believe that most people under 45 are really at the core America first. To the core, they're just like, look, I'll pay my taxes, but I want to see something out of it. And right now, I'm not seeing something out of it. I'm working from January to July to pay for all the taxes and as a total for the country. I'm working for the country from January to July, and then I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor from August to December. I don't feel that's right. And then on top of that, you want to come along and say, oh, well, we need to use your money for these illegal immigrants that are coming in over the border. We also need your money for these wars over here, but not just the wars. You got to understand where this money is going towards. This money is going towards the retirement accounts of politicians in the Ukraine, the same politicians that canceled the elections. So they're saying Ukraine is the last democracy in that area that we need to, support, or one of the last democracies in that area. They don't even have a democracy. They didn't even allow a free. Not only that, we have the Israel-Palestine war going on, which we've gone over the numbers. We had an entire episode on that, going over the numbers, going over the figures of everything, of how many people have died.
45 people just got off yesterday or the day before yesterday. And Biden said that's not the line. They're Palestinians. And they're like, oh, well, no.
But he also said if they go into Rafah and attack them, then we're going to stop sending them.
Yeah, they moved the line a little bit further.
Yeah, of course. That's what my party does, and that's embarrassing too. So
but that's the games they're playing on the people. That's how they're keeping everybody.
It's so
divided.
Wrong. It's so wrong.
It's diabolical. It's evil.
So, has this been happening the entire time, though?
Yes, they've been doing it. Name one time the Democratic Party has stopped Israel from doing anything.
Hold on, you can't just say the Democratic Party.
I'm not saying
you got to include the Republican Party.
Of course, I am. But I'm saying I'm talking about in this for this argument right here. They try to present themselves as the protectors of what's right. They don't like genocide. They don't represent. They're out for the downtrodden, right?
Well, they had the Ukrainian flags in the Congress.
Yeah, that's what they.
Why don't they have the Jewish flag?
That's what they represent. Anybody that's oppressed, right? That's who the Democrats seem to be the representatives of, right? Except in Israel, because you have Democrats who stand up there and say we stand with Israel. We stand with Israel.
Not as much as the Republicans. Republicans are changing their freaking Facebook profiles to Jewish flags.
The number
I have
one
not seen
leader,
a single
the number one
Democrat
leader in the Democratic Party, Chuck Schumer. Schumer. He's a Jew. He calls himself the gatekeeper of Israel.
And he said that he doesn't want to fund them anymore.
Bro. He wants to stop getting paid.
I'm just saying.
He's following the script. When it comes down to it, they still all agreed to send Israel $90 billion.
That's on top of what we already sent them.
On top of what we already send them every single day. It's like we don't stop. We don't cut off the money to
the
Israel.
numbers are not computing in Austin's head. It looks like he's like, wait, are those numbers correct?
Don't stop sending Israel money.
We have not stopped.
They
became. How is it this tiny little country over the past, I don't know, 70 years have become the number one country that we support? The number one country by a shit ton of money. Look at there's a graph that went viral about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, showing the changes in how much money we're sending to other countries. And it just showed the difference in the name of the countries that were going up and down. And Israel just came out of nowhere, like freaking Usain Bolt, and just charged ahead by an extravagant amount. They're destroying anyone else behind them in the amount of money that we send over there. So in my mind, I'm sitting there saying, wow, that's a really small country for us to be sending that much money into.
Right.
Why is it that the next country down is so much less and they're so much bigger?
Yo, remember, listen, we go back to Republicans. Remember, the Republican Party used to be the party that voted no on the spending bills. Like they would carve
unless
any bill.
It was military. They would be all over it, freaking jizzing left and right about military spending.
But at least they were the pork spending. Remember those words? Those were the buzzwords back then. We got too much pork spending.
Right.
We spend. Now you don't even hear any of that. Anything goes in Washington. They print money and they send it out. They print money and they send it out.
Why do we pay taxes if they can just print money?
Right. And they got us fucking running around like some dumbasses wondering why the fucking carton of eggs done went up 50%.
Did slavery ever end?
No, that never ended.
You think they just did a better job of marketing it?
Well, they just found other ways to enslave with money, without money.
Right. Because they put the slaves up on a pedestal and said, here, hire one by buying it.
Remember what Kanye said? He said, slavery is all within the mind. He said, if you were a slave and you didn't believe you were free, that's on you.
People were upset about that.
It's all within the mind.
We're really upset about that.
You can be a rich slave. They could literally have you by the balls and say, yeah, you can go anywhere you want in the world, but you can't do this, that, and the third. You need to do what we say. Hollywood.
Remember when ask Austin on this one? Remember when he was coming out against the Jewish people on his Twitter posts and stuff like that, and he went crazy. People say he went crazy.
Crazy Kanye.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Kanye's been crazy for
Do you think
decades. Remember when he said George Bush doesn't care about black people?
Was he wrong?
Remember that one? I just thought that was funny.
You thought that was up for debate?
I don't think he was wrong about that one. Actually,
okay.
I don't think he was wrong about really anything at this point. It seems like every time he says something, give it a year or two.
Everything, huh?
It seems that way. Maybe not everything. Why was there something you remember?
No, I don't. I don't follow him as much as you do, obviously. But
I mean, he does say that beautiful big titty butt naked bitches don't fall out the sky. He might be right about that.
Yeah,
he might be right about that.
He's absolutely right.
So that just wholly derailment of the podcast, because I had a whole thing regarding slavery that I kind of wanted to discuss.
Oh, whether or not we were here before?
Whether or not black people were here in America before the slave trade. Because looking at the numbers, I had... Oh, wait, hold on. Where's the conspiracy theory music? I don't have it. That's you.
Yeah, that's that was on the old... Like, that was a built-in sound on, like, the old board. Right, you sold the conspiracy theory.
We'll go with this.
Oh, gay, so gay.
Thank you. There was a guy on a podcast that I heard talk about how there's no way that many slaves came over they had to have been here already, or many of them had to have been here already. And I said, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. So I said, I know that there's been, a dozen million that came over here in the slave trade. So I looked it up. It said over the period of the Atlantic slave trade, this is Google, historical context from gilderhamman.org, whatever that is. Over the period of the Atlantic slave trade from approximately 1526 to 1867. So that's 341 years. Remember that number, 341 years. Some 12.5 million captured men, women, and children were put on ships in Africa, and 10.7 million arrived in the Americas. All right, so that means that, from what I can gather, that means maybe 1.8 million died in the middle of the water, or maybe they were taken somewhere else, in Haiti or something like that. Maybe, I don't know, because when they say in the Americas, that means North and South America. Austin, do me a favor. Can you pull up a calculator so that we can do the numbers in front of everybody, so they can go through the numbers with us on this one? Is there a way we can do that? Can you
give me a second?
Share the screen. We're going to do this on the fly here. I did not tell Austin to get ready for this at all. Isn't there just a calculator app on the computer?
Probably, but I want a full screen.
Fine.
Thing.
All right,
so
there you go. Look at that. You're so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so the 12.5 million captured men, women, and everything. Okay, so 12.5 million. So 12,500,000. We're going to go over the numbers ourselves because I really want your insight in this. Yours, Lavelle, yours, Austin, and yours at home, because this does seem a little strange. All right, so that's 12,500,000. From 1526 to 1867 was 341 years. Divide that by 341. That means these many slaves came over per year. Oh, no. So was that 36,657? Let's call it 36,657 slaves came over here per year. Am I doing that correctly already so far?
Sure.
Okay. Divide that by, I don't know, 365, I guess.
You love that plus symbol.
Yeah, right. I feel like the equal should be in the bottom corner.
So that means 100 slaves every single day for 341 years.
Okay.
Left Africa.
Right.
Do we believe that? Because that seems like a lot of people to be on slave ships leaving, again, every single day.
Well, I assume that it's probably larger groups.
Fine. Let's go with what's the average. I'll look it up myself, or do you want to? Look it up.
People let's say, it was 1,000 every 10 days.
Can we factor in the plus or minus for fucking people, black people that was free, like that were never slaves? Like, do we all
No.
we
No,
just
can't.
assume that every black person that came over this country were all slaves?
No, we cannot.
Okay. I'm gonna assume the majority.
A good. So give me a percentage. 10%, 20%, because Africa had a lot of wealthy black folks.
Right.
And most of the slaves that were supposedly brought over were supposed to be captured from other parts of the
how many wealthy black folks do you think came to America?
A lot of them. A lot of
them. Can't say a lot of them.
A lot of them, because
like a percentage of 12.5 million.
So let's assume
now that's crazy.
Hold on. Now let's assume that Nigeria itself, the country Nigeria, was not an operating functional country. Like, what context are you coming off of your of your understanding of Africa during that time? Because there was one of the most, matter of fact, he is still considered the wealthiest ruler of all time, Mansa Musa, who was black, who nearly bankrupt Egypt because he had so much gold and money. Look up.
Okay,
hold on.
Not only that, when there was a drought in Egypt, they came down to Africa.
Look up the Olmec heads of Mexico. Look up the Olmec heads of Mexico.
You're making a lot of connections that I'm trying to keep up with here. So Mansa Musa,
Musa was he was a very wealthy king on Western Africa.
Okay. what does that have to do with black people in America?
Well,
I missed your connection.
Well, it has a lot to do with the understanding the overall population. We're assuming that every black person that came over to America were enslaved, which they were not.
But
some of the first settlers on this continent were free black folks.
Or
like
were they
what
already
percentage?
here?
Were they already here? Right. That's what
It's
I'm
a
saying.
question.
That's what I'm saying. Or they could have been already here. That's what I'm saying. But this is also what I'm saying.
It sounds like so.
So the number
if we're taking this number at face value.
Hold on. Let me tell you
million.
that the Middle Passage itself. I'm reading from nps.org, so you would love that.
Oh.
The Middle Passage itself lasted roughly 80 days on ships ranging from small schooners to massive purpose-built slave ships. So 80 days.
Okay.
From Africa to America.
Right.
80 days.
Okay.
So we're sitting here saying that 100 people every single day. Let's pack them into. Let's say that the average ship they said was between 250 and 600 people would fit them.
Okay.
So how many ships do you think left Africa every week? 20? 100?
So it would have to be if there was, let's say,
I'm doing this math because I want to make sure that any type of conspiracy theory like this, which
Yeah.
sounds outlandish,
right?
Sounds outlandish. But we here at the Politically Correcting Podcast, we talk through these things so that maybe there might be a kernel of truth in there to where, shit, were we wrong about history this entire time?
No, we have been, because again, I'm trying to get the point I'm trying to get to is that number is way off. It's completely skewed. It is literally information that's fed to keep people's minds suppressed based off of whatever it is that they're like. It stops somebody from actually going back and looking to see what their true ancestral history is, right? Within just the overall population of black folks, they all assume that black people were just stuck over in Africa. They weren't sailors. They weren't already coming to Americas. So as that, like I asked, look up the statue.
Or they weren't already here.
The Olmec statue in Mexico. Look that up.
Okay.
If you look that up,
Spell that for him. Spell that for him.
OLMEC.
OLMEC.
Yes.
The
Olmec statue.
The Stoneheads.
Stonehenge. Yep. Stoneheads in Mexico.
I don't know anything about this. So
okay.
Look at the images. Look at the image of these. Now tell me, what does that look to you? These Stoneheads are in Mexico. That looks very African to me. Now, how?
That seems racist.
Well, look at the nose, look at the lips.
Racist.
I'm showing you this for a reason. So trade back.
Hold on. Does Austin disagree?
I mean,
look at the dates.
I'm not making that connection here.
Okay, look at the dates. These are Stoneheads in Mexico.
1200 to 400 BC.
All right, this is way before slavery. So where are they getting these images from? If you mean to tell me, and again, this is just understanding the
how they carved it.
Yes, the continent of Africa itself, right, was a very vibrant continent. Where the hell do you think all of the sailors, mathematics, all of the shit that was coming out of that? It was coming from Africa. They were already touring the globe. They were already over the seas. Christopher Columbus did not find his way over to Americas based off his own fucking knowledge. No, they got that shit from Africans.
It wasn't his knowledge. It was his ball sack.
Yeah, however the fuck he got here, he got here off of African knowledge because they were already coming over here. They also found coins. They also found gold coins in fucking South America. They were trading. They were trading all through the Americas. They were trading all through Asia. Africans and Asians, Indians, ancient China, they were always exchanging knowledge and information. So this whole notion that we all just came off a fucking boat and that we just so happened to make it because massa caught us is bullshit. It's literally bullshit. And when people go back and trace their history and trace their heritages and see that, you know what? I might have some motherfucking lineage to some people who actually was doing some shit and not the Dutch who came over here and said, oh, we discovered America. So fuck off.
You guys could have been colonizers?
They were already doing this.
Oh, man.
Everybody was colonizing everybody.
No reparations.
Then. We don't want to talk about the Moors. The Moors dynasty controlled Italy and Spain for years. They still pay homage to the Black Moors over there in Spain.
Sure.
So
yeah,
I
have fun
agree.
telling
Okay.
Italians
so
that
the
they're actually
money,
That's
the
great.
money was always there. Nobody was fucking
for African, should I say?
were weak and didn't know what the fuck was going on in this world. But fucking dumbass Christopher Columbus and the Pilgrims, they didn't invent shit. They didn't find their way here on their own. They stole the information. They stole it or bought it.
So you think the history books? Are we coming to possibly an agreement that the history books might be wrong?
They were freaking bought by the Rockefeller Foundation. Of course, they don't want people
Well,
to
that's
be
a far.
inspired.
Hold on.
Allegedly.
Austin looks confused about the connection there.
No, I see where he's
It's because you're
coming from.
enlightened.
Yeah. I just
But with
I
the normal
don't
listener-
necessarily agree with the conclusions drawn.
Well,
I
that's
wouldn't-
fine. You can go and look on your own, but you just
Sure.
saw ancient stone heads,
I
and
did.
I get it.
Does
You
that
know,
say anything to you? Does that
I
ancient hold
that did on a scale from 1 to 5, that did not
that didn't hit?
change my opinion.
That didn't change your
that's
opinion.
that's
Those,
fine.
what year again? What year?
1200 BC.
1200
That
BC
doesn't
to
change your mind a
400
little bit.
BC.
That doesn't say, whoa. I mean,
Well, so I am still not assuming those were black people faces. That's the leap
okay.
you made.
It's
that is the leap that a black
I-
man made. I want to make sure everyone saw
I feel
that.
like I've seen some like broad face, Hispanic
not looking
fellas.
like that, not looking like that. Not
You
looking
know,
like that.
I don't know. I don't know if those are
And
necessarily exclusively black features. That's your assumption. That's not mine.
Every walking human on this planet
He can
has
assume it.
has a
Oh, yeah.
percentage of African in their DNA. You
I
even
don't.
have it yourself.
I don't.
You
I'm 100% Taino.
Oh,
According to my sister who did the ancestry.com, I'm 1% Congo.
there you
So,
go.
So-
Reparations.
Hey, Congo.
So now I'm
And-
back on the reparations
and
train.
Oh,
Figure
you're
send that
from
my
the
way.
Congo got wide noses and big lips.
I didn't
It's
say
in
that.
your DNA.
Look, my luscious lips are purely from my Irish heritage.
Nah, man.
I'm pretty sure actually one of those statues look like Austin. Hold on. Pull one up again. I gotta see the side profile here.
You look at
Oh yeah.
There-
Austin. I don't know,
that's-
bro.
You can't tell me that dude in the. You see that? You see
The
that
one in
brother?
the brown one in the
Yeah,
middle.
in the middle. You can't tell me that brother right there ain't black. I don't care who you talking about. That dude is straight.
I knew the immediate
straight
one you're looking at.
black.
Jeez.
That dude is black.
Was he?
His midnight.
Oh no, Austin top right.
It's all good, man. Listen, yeah, that guy right there.
None of them look like me. So
we're
I'm
all the same. You
I'm
look,
very okay with
you
that.
you look at the sea patterns that they take.
I still see it.
There is
But how big is the body is the question. Because remember the Easter Island heads, they just recently found out that they were buried deep underneath a shit ton of dirt.
yeah.
I think that leaves credence to the Great Flood. I think
Oh, Jesus.
you know what,
Austin, I prove you wrong on biblical stuff.
Yeah. Don't
I want to see if there's a body underneath because I don't think you're just gonna build a big ass head like that on top of dirt. I guarantee there's a body under there. I
what?
guarantee it.
There's like so many different ones. If there was
That one
bodies-
in the grass in the bottom left or the bottom right. That one
Okay,
right there.
This guy?
You're telling me that thing does not have a body underneath it?
Yeah, because if it's proportional, that would be so like,
Exactly. Which would
massive.
leave credence for, I don't know, mud flood. Which is why there's many cities that are being found underneath the city that it was that was built upon it. Dude, I'm all over this mud flood thing. All over it. I think that it is certainly feasible. There's no reason why there's mud everywhere that are covering up civilizations. Where did all that dirt come from? It couldn't have been dust storms that just decided to take over an entire civilization. Maybe a meteor hitting it. I can agree with that. Maybe a meteor hitting it. Maybe a random flood, I guess, but it's happened all over the place. Easter Island is one of the biggest things that appeals to me because there is land around it that does seem to kind of show that it was part of a bigger parcel of land that may or may not have been these continents that people kind of like have been searching for quite some time. I would love, man, this is the kind of stuff that I love. I would love to be searching for buried treasure, buried gold, buried artifacts in these areas. That's what I'd love to get to in the future. Me personally,
And listen, bro,
get so rich that you just freaking
there's
go
so
around Easter Island
much,
just looking up shit.
There's so much hidden history that they don't tell us on purpose, man.
Do you agree, Austin?
Not saying that
I'm
they
sure
have to tell
history
us.
is not 100% accurate to like textbooks. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Of course, there are things that were changed. You know, history is written by the victors, all that.
Sure.
However,
the caveat.
there is a big leap from like, okay, that 12.5 million number.
Yep.
And
which is a giant number.
That's a huge number. That's what I'm saying. So
in that amount of time, do you not are you not in agreement? I want to flesh this out here.
I would.
Do you not think that's a lot of people in a short and 340 whatever?
I'd have to know how many ships were like involved.
But it took them 80 days to get to America. That means it's a 160-day round trip. There couldn't have been that many ships.
I don't. There
couldn't have been that many ships that were able to come across the freaking ocean. It just doesn't seem fathomable. I believe that there were certainly. I would give them.
These are the ones that made it though too.
Exactly.
Those are the ones that made it. So you mean to tell me 100 out of how big were these boats? How many people did they have on a boat?
They had some big boats. I just think that let's say that 100 at that time.
Yeah, but it had to be more than that.
It had to be way more than that.
Yeah, it had to be more than 100.
That's what I'm saying. Like, does that sound feasible? Were we taught incorrectly about the slave trade?
Yeah, just like dude said though, too. Think about it. This is a business. So this is precious cargo.
Sure.
This is laborers. You need everybody to survive. So why would I just push them down underneath a boat that's either that, there's a whole bunch of bacteria down there. So you're going to get sick. They're going to die. They're going to freaking die dehydrated. However way they don't make it. Yeah. You could lose a good 30% of your cargo.
That's what we've been told.
Yeah. And so why would you even risk that?
You're saying that didn't happen.
I'm saying the information that we were told, the story that they gave us about the Atlantic slave trade is not completely accurate at all.
Not completely accurate.
And
it says 15%, about 15% grew sick and died.
Okay. So add that to what? So 15%.
That was the 12.5 million that jumped down to 10.8, whatever. That sounds like the 15%, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That again, the stories that they told us, it's like they're trying. It's like they're trying to keep a story the way it is because it fits where we are today.
And it seems as though when we have these types of conversations, there's going to be a person out there that's probably going to be taking this way worse than us. And it's like, these fucking idiots, they don't know what the fuck they're. Look at them. They're talking about slave trade may not have been. I'm not saying the slave trade didn't exist. What I'm saying is that is a huge amount of people in that time, in that day, in that age, the amount of ships. I would love to know how many ships that were slave ships back then. Mm-hmm. If you could look up yourself, how many slave ships were available back then to transport that many people? Because it took 80 days to get from Africa to America. And then they would have to turn back around after they dropped them off immediately.
But bro, they
turn
right
back around after this 80-day trip with no food, no substance, no nothing like that. Turn right back around, go right back over there to go get more, to turn back around and come back. And it just doesn't add up.
Bro, they weren't just stopping at America either. They were going down the East Coast. They were going into Jamaica. They were going into Barbados, going into Trinidad, going into South America, going into America. That's a lot of fucking sailing. And they weren't just coming in from Virginia. They're going all the way down, going down into Haiti, South America, going up into Louisiana, going into Texas, and then coming all. That's a lot of transporting. That's a lot of cargo. It's a lot of cargo.
I gotta agree with that. Austin, give me something on this one. Make it make sense.
So I guess my question is,
doesn't matter.
Well, no. It's what percentage do you think were slaves, Lavelle? Like where like?
Well, the overall population, like when Emancipation Proclamation came in 1868, right?
Sure.
There was 4 million blacks in the country at that time.
That's it.
And half of them were free. 4 million.
Out of the 10.5 million that came.
This is why
to
I'm
America?
saying the numbers are skewed. The numbers are skewed.
Look that up, Austin. We need a
Looking it up.
fact checker here.
Fact check it.
How many slaves were in
when-
America during the proclamation?
Now, the information I'm reading,
Emancipation Proclamation.
I'm getting this data through old books and documents and shit. The over
So to back up Lavelle here, 4.4 million African Americans in 1865.
That seems like a very low amount considering how many came to America as slaves.
So to my
'Cause
point,
you didn't
though,
go around killing everybody.
But to my point, like I said, though, there were so many blacks buying their freedom. Half of them are free.
But that
and
wasn't. That was just how many black people were here, not
right.
slaves.
Yeah, that's black people, right? That's what I said.
That seems
Half were
off.
free, half were still enslaved. And the argument at that time was about the morality and how we're going to get everybody else free, because again, this was literally the economy depended upon these laborers.
Double
these
check that.
laborers.
How many slaves were actually freed in the Emancipation
look it up.
Proclamation?
Looking it up.
Got our resident fact checker. All he has to do is color his hair blue
Mhm.
or purple, and then stick a ring in his septum.
Let's see here. So according to the 1860 census, there was 3.9 million slaves.
That
And
seems like all the
18
slaves, because you said it was 4 million that
This
were.
is 1860. So
Well,
So not half.
by 1868, there was close to half of black folks that were free.
looking it up.
So even within the number, you had the free blacks, the blacks who were buying their freedom, the blacks who were already free.
Go ahead. He might have found something.
So in the year of Lincoln's election, there were a total of 488,000 free blacks.
And that was Lincoln. And what year was this?
This is
1860.
Lincoln's election. So
1860. So,
So-
in 8 years,
So that adds up to what we said. The black population was 4.4 million.
But you might
was
be right
4
about
million
people thinking
slaves
that-
and 400,000.
I'm sure there
Mhm,
were
free
people that said that they or believed that they were freed, and there were probably slave owners that said
there were a lot more.
I don't know about
There were a
half,
lot
but-
more blacks being freed because they were already. It was a technicality up to that point. It literally was, and what they were trying to do was hold on to it because again, you had the economy depending upon it. Now, to even look into slavery itself and the morality side of it, everybody has this image of slavery like the slave, like every slave master was did not understand the importance of paying their slaves, being a good owner, right? That's just it sounds terrible.
right. What are you trying to say
But
there?
what I'm trying to say is, and this is just if I would ask people, read Booker T. Washington's book, Up From Slavery, and he'll explain it to you. Because there were a lot of slave masters who were so bad at running the plantation, the slaves actually took over and ran the plantation. There's so many slaves that bought their freedom, ended up getting their own plantations, right? So, and this was closer to 1868 because again, they already knew that eventually they're going to have to free the slaves. And the argument of slavery was even started back in Declaration of Independence when Thomas Jefferson was talking about how bad it was, even though he had slaves, but they were trying to free the slaves back then. So the way we look at slavery, it has to change because that's the only way black folks are going to have any type of empowerment because there's so many slaves that they were running their own businesses, even though they were slaves. They were making baskets, making brooms, making things that they could sell in the open market. They had the weekends off. They would go out and offer their services to other farmers that needed help and get paid for it. Like the women that could sew, they got paid for their services. Black people were not docile freaking individuals back during slavery days. We weren't standing up there looking for massa to come save us. Like there were situations where slaves bought their way into freedom or they ran away. Those census records are not going to talk about the undocumented slaves that are, that ran away, that got away. So the numbers that they feed us, the numbers that they put out there to make us believe that majority of black folks were enslaved is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's really meant to keep the consciousness of black folks down, suppressed, so that they never believe that they are equal to anybody. There's always going to be that fucking ceiling.
Who would be doing that?
Well, the conquerors, the people who are the rulers, the people who do not want to see power shifted or changed from their
Wouldn't
own.
that have been the black people though? Because you just said that they were advanced back then. So wouldn't it have naturally been the Africans that were the conquerors?
Well, shit. Look at Africa now. Look at Africa now.
I don't want to.
Yo, if you get the Republic of Congo, that you don't want to go over there. If they had any opportunity to go take over another country, that they would literally do it. There's so many gangsters and bad folks over. Like the world is a fucked up place. Doesn't matter the color.
The world is a vampire.
It's all fucked up. And back during the time when black folks was talking that would go back to Africa stuff back in the 1800s, the fucking Africans didn't want them. It's like, nah, we're good. You guys figure it out over there.
Well,
but
we dove into that conversation.
To the video you sent me, because you said you definitely want to, ask me how
that was
going to
be the whole basis for the podcast, and then the Trump thing.
Well, just to answer that question, I do think that slaves were coming over here through boats. I don't think those numbers are accurate because, again, that just implies that everybody was a slave. And
that they were able to ship that many at that time.
I know that on the 25% of my DNA, I found that, my great grandfather or the fourth generation grandfather wasn't a slave. He owned land, and he was born in 1791.
So your family's colonizers. I see how it is.
Well,
that's why he has a colonizer.
Just know what the fuck they were doing.
But so that's one great grandfather. What about the other?
That's possible. They could. They more than likely could have been slaves. I know for another portion of my family. I know for another portion of my family that come through South Carolina. I know they definitely were slaves. The Lewises, my Lewis family, I'm pretty sure from South Carolina, definitely either my great grandfather or great grandfather had to be a slave. More than likely. I'm not saying that it's not impossible, but I'm saying when you trace your whole DNA, when you trace and you look back at your 8 great grandparents, right? I know that on my Moore side of the family, my great grandmother, she came by way of Louisiana, and if you look at a picture of her, she has straight up thick dreadlocks. She could very well have been a slave. The names that they gave slaves, like Susan, or like a basic name, a Joe or a Thomas or something like that, those names were passed down from their masters. So she could have very well been a slave, straight from Africa, wide nose, big, dreadlocks.
Traditional Olmec features.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the Stoneheads came from. But what the reason why I'm saying it though, like they make us so like we should be ashamed of that shit, or we should claim victim to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be here if they wouldn't have made it. So that's a testament to you already, motherfucker. Right? Like I was laughing at the 10 Commandments, right? Because you watch it. And you see all these fucking red, white motherfuckers like falling out and shit. And you really think do you really think that within that story, they were the slaves and they were the ones that were building those pyramids? They took some weak white motherfuckers that can't withstand the sun for fucking 10 minutes.
Aliens.
They'll burn.
Aliens. It's the only way.
Yeah. I don't think black slaves built the pyramids. I believe the alien theory too.
Oh, see? Oh, see?
I think you just need to let my people go.
How dare you?
Let your people go out of Egypt.
Moses ass white.
Yeah.
He wasn't white. He was
What?
Black.
It's like
he did kill a guy.
King Ramsey was black.
He was abandoned by his parents, and then he grew up to kill a guy.
It was black,
He
man.
might be black.
He's a black dude. He ain't know who his daddy was. Black dude all day, man. Name Moses. You know a black Moses, don't you?
I sure do.
There you go.
The news to me.
Oh man. Well, I want to make sure that you guys know that we appreciate you. That's why we do this show, not because of us, because we want to have these types of conversations out loud in the open, honest dialogue for everyone to hear, so that maybe, I don't know, this might spark some kind of conversation in your own life. I believe that this right here, I learned quite a bit. You know, I didn't know anything about those crazy Olmec
Those
heads.
Olmec heads?
I only knew the East Island ones.
Jose, they look black.
Racially ambiguous heads to me.
Definitely racially ambiguous.
I don't
know
know.
if,
It's okay, man. It's okay. Like, what they say, and this is like a bad analogy now. I'll call a spade a spade.
I would like,
That's what that
you know,
was.
be even more weird if those rocks were not even native from that area.
They're not.
Of course
They're
it's
not.
Of course it's not. That's the whole thing with like Easter Island. They're from like a whole different area. So
They did it to pay homage to
look,
what?
Project Bluebeam is going to come out at some point. It's kind of gotta. There's going to be a civil war. There's going to be a world war. In my opinion, there's going to be these things because it's just so much shit happening, and it just seems like they kind of want to kind of trigger people to act out.
Yes.
In a way, it's like, hey, we got your guy. Now what are you going to do?
Right.
Hey, you lost your vote here. Your guy lost the presidency. Now what are you going to do? It just seems like there's going to be a constant.
Yeah. Just keep.
What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And it's, don't let it happen. They want you to be triggered, and they know you will, because we saw what happened on January 6th. You can sit there and say that it was a calm and collected freaking group of people who were just out there having a good time, lovey-dovey, stuff like that. But they triggered you. Same thing happened allegedly, or that one with the BLM. I mean, that's what BLM stated, that RPD was triggering them. They were pulling the freaking triggers on these pepper sprays and bullets, rubber bullets and everything like that. I said, you're crazy. That would never happen. You're insane. You should have just freaking went home, yada, yada. And then I see the video from January 6th, and I'm like, in my own head, I'm like, oh shit. Maybe that did happen during the BLM riots, and we were kind of pushed off to the side saying, don't listen to these crazy people.
Could you pull this guy up for me, Austin? This is, if you want to look into ancient Egypt history.
I'm trying to close out the podcast.
I know you are, but I just want to bring
up
up one person just so you guys can kind of look into him on your own.
There he is, right there.
If you want to learn some stuff, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
How's he gonna know how to spell that?
IVAN.
Yeah.
And then Van, down by the river. Look him up. So this is a famous historian. That's where I got
Jesse Jackson.
That's where I got the information about the to the bottom left. So the Stoneheads, right? So that's where I first learned the Stoneheads, and also the the traveling that the Africans did over to South America, and the trading that they did to the Africans, South America and North America. They already knew how to get over to America. They knew that there was an actual stream within the Atlantic.
Currents?
Yeah, the ocean currents. Like, they knew how to read the water, and they knew that they could get over to the Americas in a very quick.
In a canoe?
Yeah, they already knew how to get over here. But he is one of the people that he's from Guyana, I think.
How's he got a van?
Yes. So he's from Georgetown, Guyana, and Guyana is one of the colonized countries that the British took over and sent a lot of Indians over there. So he's probably like mixed with Indian and black, red dot Indian. But I credit this guy for a lot of his truth information about American history,
allegedly
African history. And
you don't know if it's truth.
He kills Christopher Columbus and that theory of him discovering America. So look him up.
Well, I think that the far left, because I know they watch this, I think that should be a trigger for you to say, well, I might agree with that, because fuck Christopher Columbus. We hate him anyways. We want to take away from his day. So if you're telling me that Africans did this, well, I would love to agree with that. So go ahead and read it. let me know because I'm not going to read that book. I don't want to hear about these rockheads. I will look it up though. I honestly will look it up because that was very intriguing. That kind of stuff is very intriguing. And on top of that, maybe we should just take a trip down there and start digging around it to see if there's a body.
Never know. We might find Jesus.
I already found you. I'm hoping one day
we might find the body.
The body.
That's what we're looking for.
That body is gone, baby. That body is gone. It has risen.
Too funny.
What, Austin? I see you thinking about saying something.
No, I would never say anything.
Yeah.
If Jesus is risen, though.
Oh, here we go.
If Jesus is risen, why is his body unleavened?
You're stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And that's our show for today.
Get him,
folks.
Austin!
We appreciate you
Nailed
joining
him.
us on another beautiful next month. Next month is gonna be crazy. We have possibly a really dope idea. Austin, we might be bringing you into the hood. We'll find out. There's gonna be the live reactions to the Joe Biden, Donald Trump debate that we may or may not be doing in front of a live audience as well. I don't know.
Let's hope we make it happen.
We're trying to make that happen. It may or may not be in a certain barbershop. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. I think that we need to be around people who may not be friendly to Trump. I'm not saying I'm friendly to Trump. I'm saying I appreciate the showmanship of Trump and him talking shit to a guy that I believe is half dead. You like Trump. I know that. Austin loves Trump. So I kind of want to just be around.
Tremendous. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I do. So we'll see what happens. But next month, that night will be a live podcast. We will be going live with reactions to what's going on. It's either going to be right here with the TV over here. You can't see it, but there's a TV here. Or on location. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Make sure you join us on Monday. I know I said on the radio show, we'll be back on Wednesday. I thought Wednesday was Monday. That's what happens when you got a Monday off.
Yeah.
I was totally way off.
He's all fucked up.
We'll be back on Monday. Have a blessed weekend. See ya.